Hello, once again, we are live. This is Bob and Bob on the Bob and Bob Show, and we are coming to you for our third day in a row. That's right, this is our third day in a row, and I think that's because we are covering Flo.
Guys, not sick.
Sorry, what? Our own studio audience is chiming in. So, Bob, I couldn't help but notice you've got a new fashion there. You pulled down your helmet there, so it's in between your eyes and your goggles. Can you maybe explain the reasoning for that?
Well, Bob, what we got is a couple things that are going on right now. Number one, we were talking about yesterday how, strangely enough, I was looking more and more like a minion. So I thought this would make it closer.
You know what, Bob, you bring up a nice point. That is true. I think that's nice. Sorry, you had an and there.
I did have an and. And for number two, as the storm gets closer to high point, not only do I need to make sure that the helmet stays on, but I did have to put on the life jacket just in case. And I see that you are wearing one as well.
I have worn a life jacket. In fact, to try to be a little more stylish, I went ahead and crossed them whenever I connected them. And it's hard for me to follow it while I'm watching them, but you can tell that they are crossed. I believe that's for extra security. Can't help but notice that you decided not to go with the extra security, but I guess that could make sense sometimes.
I think if I went crisscross a little further, I would cut off the circulation to my head. But speaking of crisscross, it reminds me of the bands that are coming out from the storm, from Flo.
That's the bands, that's right. Journey, I believe you mentioned, was one of them.
And crisscross.
And crisscross.
Crisscross.
We'll make you rock. Or jump.
Or jump.
Yeah.
Rock, so we are smack dab in the middle of day three of Florence and the Machine.
As you can imagine, it's absolutely exhausting covering Florence 3 days in a row for a total of minutes. But we are committed to all 6 of our viewers. And so we will continue covering the hurricane coverage as long as we possibly can. Although you might be seeing some of our colleagues who are also following this on channels such as the Weather Channel and Weather Nation. Bob, I think you might even have an opinion about some of those people.
Well, I saw that C3PO was out and he was covering some of the weather. And he was doing a little better wind walk as opposed to a colleague of ours, Mike Bettis. So he was doing a Bettis,
yes,
Elaine's brother. So he was having a hard time standing in the weather because it was gusting. It was gusting about 7 miles an hour.
It was
knocking him over. And then these 2 toddlers came across. One was crawling, and one was skipping behind him.
You know what? I did notice that video. I gotta tell you will not see something like that happening to us. Of course, we try to do the broadcast that we can, bringing to you all the most current news that has happened within the most recent 24 hours. The best we can in the safety of our studio.
The safety of our studio.
So, Bob, I don't know about you, although it is possible that your helmet is actually stopping them. My eyeballs are starting to sweat, which are going to fog back up my goggles. I may just move them down a little bit so that we can continue our show.
You should protect the stash. Perfect. Protect the stash. Perfect. If I were to move mine down any further, I am afraid that the helmet will come flying off with these strong gusts of wind that are flowing through.
It is at least possible. I can see that. No, it's good for you to be conscientious about the helmet.
Watch this back home.
Sorry, we're getting a lot of feedback from the studio audience.
There's some feedback going on today.
Couldn't help but notice.
So as the power goes out all through a high point, it seems that everybody is coming and they're gathering here at our safe point. We're calling this the safe zone at the bottom of our studio.
This is the high point. This is one of several safe zones for High Point.
No questions asked. If you need a place to stay, come on over.
Please come on over. By the way, could anyone take that one particular person's microphone away? It's being particularly loud.
I know. I'm like,
so I think what I'm going to do is let my eyes breathe for a little bit.
It's not a bad idea.
I think my eyes just lost 3 pounds.
That is a good thing, though. They were starting to swell just a little bit. I couldn't help but notice. I didn't want to bring it up. Actually, this is really odd. Let me just see.
Oh, we have a caller coming in? Or we have a timer. We are on the clock as we speak. The Bob and Bob Show is on the clock.
Unfortunately, it was just spam.
Oh, it was Spam. Our good friend Spam is calling.
I was actually hoping that it was our good friend Kevin, who has checked in on us every so often.
Every so often, and it looks like he's back in wickety
Whack. Well played, sir. And we got Stacy who says, I
Hello,
agree.
Stacey.
Bob.
Well, awkward because we both said something and she agrees with someone, and so we've got some distractions going on here. As we were saying, we have opened up the Bob and studio for all orphans. Llamas are allowed to come if you do have a pet llama or an alpaca. Moose.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I was actually covering for
We
you.
had just a few members of our studio audience concerned about our safety, which I actually expect and would like to thank all of them out there. I really appreciate that. Heart you too.
If I appreciate it, I mean, we'll catch you later. Whoa. Bruce. All right, so back to the, let's go live to the weather cam.
We should go to the weather con.
Let's,
Looks like we may be having some technical difficulties.
We can point it out on the gray screen. So what we've got here is we've got a storm front coming in through here, and it's a high pressure of a bob
Yes.
circling.
And you're going to want to watch out for the dip. So
The dip.
what is amazing is Myrtle Beach, for example, right now they've got a lot of wind shear going outward. That's right, it's coming east because of the rotation of the hurricane. We expect that to change shortly, and as soon as it does, the swell from that hurricane can be exceptionally large.
It could, and it could have some severe effects on the drought that we've been experiencing this week.
I think that is true. Now, it's interesting you do bring up the drought. Just recently, and by recently I mean this morning, we started to feel hurricane force winds. I believe we had an average of at least 6 to 10 miles an hour steady, with gusts as large as 20 miles an hour.
And for you Canadians, that's 25 kilometers.
Now that is hands down enough to knock over an empty can.
Or C-3PO.
C-3PO. Need on air sign. Peanut Gallery is loud today. Yes, they are. In fact, we have one particular person who I can't seem to turn off her mic. But that's okay.
Awkward. And it's a one-finger salute to the Buck and Bob Show here live on the
Look
show.
at that. We're using
Live on
sign
the show.
language now. Part of the reason we're using sign language is because we're having technical difficulty with some of our radio, largely due to the wind and disruption from the rain. As you know, any kind of technology does not always tend well against the rain, the wetness, and
Make it louder.
So now that we're looking at it,
Turn it up.
in
I
case
like
you
that.
had power all week long and now you're suffering without power, and this is when you decided to tune in, you haven't heard what we're actually providing as a service. So here at the Bob and Bob Show, what we're going to do is we're not only going to entertain, but we're going to save lives. So if you need help to have your life guarded,
yes,
just give us a call by hitting this button right there. You tap that button right there, it'll ring up, or it'll send an email to the Bob and Bob Show 1 at gmail.com.
close.
Close.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely correct, Bob. Sorry, I almost misheard you there.
Sweet. So
Sorry about
again,
that.
so we are here to guard your life,
I don't think either one of us can.
plus
Flip them back and forth.
entertain you if you need help.
That is correct. Now, I think the hurricane, as you know, did take a little dip.
It did take a dip.
And so the destruction in High Point has been a little different than what they were originally predicting.
It is a little.
Sorry, we
less
might
severe.
have to have security move some of our studio audience outside into what could potentially be rain or wind.
We've never had anybody ejected from our show before.
We haven't, but I'm happy to have it first time.
We've had callers ask for us to be evacuated from the show.
I totally agree again.
Come back.
Oh, we've got the wind coming in. It's getting much stronger than I would have ever
I'm gonna
expected.
take the goggles off so you can actually get a visual on how windy it is in the studio.
Oh, that is nice.
It is actually blowing my hood to the point where it's tilting my head back, and it's close to ripping it off my shoulders.
It is. thankfully, you have such strong neck muscles. They're very impressive.
Yes, it's from many years of heavy metal music listening
And probably all those push-ups.
and push-ups.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take off my goggles, too.
I think the storm
Although I
is
do
clearing
have a
up.
nicely
The
streamlined
storm may
poncho.
be clearing up.
Aerodynamic. It's a way to stop me from being blown away.
I would think, though, we could actually. Whoa, trees are flying in here.
Holy cow, this is way worse than
This is
ever
getting crazy.
expected.
Okay, so maybe it's time to break out your night lights.
Bring them out.
Break them out. So candles in the wind.
And thankfully, I also have a nice little lantern here.
Lantern. So we'll have to let's zoom that camera down so we can get a little mood light on. We can get way down here.
There we go.
So we lost power here at the Bob and Bob Show. So what we're doing is we're going to present the rest of the show by candlelight and this lantern.
It would seem as though we have lost all Wi-Fi, all power.
Power is gone.
So the only lights that we have left are going to be this lantern and this candle.
So we're going to bring this into a little bit more of an intimate setting.
That's right. It kind of helps everybody. I think we just want to remind you that even though the hurricane itself has dropped down to a Cat 1,
That was a Cat 13.
Cat 13,
Cat 13.
it is still a dangerous hurricane.
Yes.
And based on something like that, you can still get flash floods. So remember, wherever you're going, be careful. And even though you think that you know that you have driven on that road, remember you've not driven on that road since it's been flooded.
It has not been flooded. And as it gets darker, the temperatures are going down. So there is a chance of icing. There is a chance of freezing roads. So black ice could be out there.
And actually, this has been well documented. This has been well documented on the day after tomorrow.
The day
And
after.
remember, if you are inside, stay inside, because it is possible super cooled air could be driven down
And don't forget,
directly out of outer space.
if you need help, you've got the lifeguard service plus entertainment.
Plus entertainment.
Plus entertainment. Oh, wait, I think the power just came back on, Bob.
Oh, that is
Back on.
excellent.
Whoa! I feel like that was close. So the city of High Point's actually doing a very good job with the power. I guess we can give a shout out to Duke Energy.
Duke Energy. And High Point.
And High Point Electrical, the electric company.
Our electric
What's this song? What's their theme song from the electric company? No, that's not it. That's close. It could be it. It could be it. So just a quick shout out for Mike Bettis, the wind walker. Very good walker. Very good piece that he had on tonight.
Yes.
So
It's fascinating.
either his legs are really weak, or those toddlers walking behind him were really strong.
They are potentially very strong.
Very
They
strong.
also speak to just how specific the winds of a hurricane can be. They can affect an area of a 3 to 5 foot area of space,
That much.
and not others. It's very hard to predict, which is why you'll see most of the reporters standing in water, because the water waves give them an idea of where that wind actually is.
So when they're talking about water weight, is that exactly what they mean?
That is
When one
exactly.
says like I'm carrying extra water weight,
That is
that
exactly.
is what it means.
That is what it means.
So speaking of water weight, I was thinking that once this hurricane is gone, I may keep this jacket because it's actually doing wonders for my posture.
You know what? I actually noticed that it is doing wonders for
If
your
you
body.
cinch it up as tight as I've got it, it's going to clear up my scoliosis.
And how is it doing for your breathing?
My breathing, it almost feels like I have emphysema or COPD or something.
Sure,
I'm having a hard time breathing.
You're usually a lot deeper than you have been. I can't help but notice that you're a little more shallow.
I'm more of a tenor than a soprano
More of a tenor.
or a niner. Could be a niner, not quite a tenor. So like I said, we're here for your lifeguarding and
Plus,
plus entertainment.
so I think we have gotten all the way up to a drowning 0.5 inches of rain, and that may be an exaggeration.
It
And I
could be a
believe
little-
that we are
little
taking
high.
on gusts of somewhere around 300 miles an hour lately. So much so that I had to bring in my wind chime because it was making too much noise. The neighbors actually complained. I think that's what happened.
And then they came over here.
Then they came over here and made more noise than the chime themselves.
So actually, C3PO just came in from outside, and let's see how he is doing now. So C3PO, what can you tell us about the weather that is outside? I think his tongue may have floated away in the rain.
It is possible. It probably ripped off whenever he was trying to use his own microphone outside. That's just the thing. This is the whole reason that we're actually inside.
He's no Mike Bettis,
He's no Mike Bettis.
but he tries.
He tries. You know what? You've got to have those special protective goggles so that your tongue doesn't rip off.
Goggles for your tongue.
For your tongue. So, you know what? I saw a few smiley faces floating things. There for a while, we were all the way up to 11 viewers.
11
back
viewers?
down to 7.
7.
7.
7.
7.
Seven.
Dale Bartlett would like to give a little shout out for you. I understand you may not even have power, and yet you're able to watch the show. That's very
fantastic.
impressive.
So I think maybe some of these
Like
folks
to see the
did listen to us yesterday
Yes.
to shut off the power at the box in their garage so they can save the power for when it does go out. You flip it back up, and you've got power saved for today.
That is a good idea. If you go an entire day without it, then of course you'll have the day later.
That's correct.
That is right.
So what I suggest is, again, after tonight's show, just flip that down, save it till tomorrow morning, and then flip it back up, and you should be able to catch our morning episode of Bob and Bob Show, which by morning I mean evening.
That is correct. Because right now I believe that we are getting reports that the wind may actually be worse than absent.
Then what?
Absent.
Absent?
That's right. As in, it may be present.
So there may be some wind.
I don't know. It's unclear to me right now. You know, there's a lot of things that are saying we're constantly asking people to monitor the path of the hurricane.
Well, let's take attendance. Wind,
Wind.
Here.
present.
It is
We've
present.
got the wind here.
I'm here.
Beneath my wings.
I almost got ejected.
There's nothing to be doing. Sorry about that.
I was so loud I almost got ejected.
Good luck
Get a
on
little
that
snug
one.
up in here. I actually may start wearing this under my clothes because it not only, again,
I'm like the hard
protects me
case.
from
Coming
floods,
in with the
Yes.
force.
corrects my
You know what I'm saying?
scoliosis,
Air blowing in me.
helps me with my shortness of breath,
Yes.
and it could be used as a bulletproof vest. It feels like it's powerful enough to stop a bullet.
You know what? At a minimum, it will prevent any kind of debris from hurting you.
Maybe on Tuesday's show we can try it.
In these gale force winds of 6 miles an hour.
6 miles an hour.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Not
Let's
a
do
bad
it.
idea.
We check it out.
So I don't know, Bob. I think this is probably about enough of our coverage for now. Oh, can you guys come down and get the tree out of the road real quick?
So Dale, all you have to do is just hit this button right here. If you need assistance from the Bob and Bob Show, this button right there, we will be there. It'll either call our hotline, which is here, the hotline,
The hotline.
or it'll shoot an email to our email account at the Bob and Bob Show 1@gmail.com. You can also reach us at Instagram, or at Twitter.
Tweeter for the Bob
Tweeter.
and Bob. Notice Tweeter did not allow us to have show on there, so it's just the Bob and Bob for Tweeter.
That's right, the Bob and Bob for Twitter. For the twits.
Tweeter.
For the twits.
It's not- Where all the birds are allowed.
We're back in. Just in case the rain picks up again, we'll make sure my head is protected.
It's good to
Once my
protect your
hair
head
gets
from
wet,
the
it
rain.
takes forever for it to dry. So let's just make sure it's covered and stays dry from the get-go.
Well, I couldn't help but notice that your hair was actually. Oh no! It looks like.
Oh, there's a rain.
Holy cow!
There comes the rain.
I'm not so sure that our microphones are as nice as the ones that they're using.
So,
Oh,
I'm gonna stop making fun of Mike Bettis because I do think he's got a waterproof microphone.
he probably does.
Or maybe that's why he was having a hard time walking.
At a minimum, a GoPro that he's using to record things, as opposed to a laptop. Holy cow! We've got another tree going by.
It's getting crazy up in here in High Point. So I think the weather has switched again. So maybe what we should do is we should take a break,
Take a break.
go outside, dance a little bit in the rain, see how it's going, and then we'll come back tomorrow and report back.
That sounds like a good plan. So I think for this time, thanks again for tuning in, and we will let you know how things are going next week, tomorrow.
Next week, tomorrow. So don't forget, we have got a morning show tomorrow night. So we'll see you then.
Next week.
Oh.